and it brings people things to do, like on the weekends.
They can go to an event, they can go to a play or something, you know what I'm saying? Like those who like to act, and they can get inspired by those they can see in their fellow students doing it, and it might give them that extra or extra push that they need to, you know what I'm saying, get involved in acting, and they can go to the stars from there.
I've heard, I believe they do something every week, that there's something called Cricket City. That's the only thing I've really heard about it. It's kind of like an improv, or you do some kind of drama scene or something. That's all I've really heard about it, though.
Hello and welcome back to Studio 122. I'm your host, Chris Manguel, and we're here with theater major A-Marie Rushalo. How you doing, A-Marie?
Good, how are you?
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about the play that was 1,000 Proms and Dump Monkeys. What was it all about?
Essentially, it was two one-act plays that we actually paired together with an intermission in between. And the first half was 1,000 Proms, which acted as my senior honors thesis for the Honors College here at Texas A&M. And essentially, it was a one-woman show that I did that I found with my thesis advisor, and we went through the rehearsal process and put it together and then had it. And then Dump Monkeys was actually written by our in-house playwright in the theater department, Jim Tyler Anderson, and it's sort of a post-apocalyptic story about some women who are just trying to sort of make it through the apocalypse.
Okay, so how has been the feedback from the students and from just the community about both of the plays?
Well, for my show, I mean, obviously because I wasn't in the second half, I haven't really talked as much with people about that. But the response from the community about 1,000 Proms has been really like moving and touching.
Nice.
They've really been impacted by it, I think. So that's a good feeling.
So what inspired you to want to do this show?
Well, I started in the Honors College. We are told from the very beginning that we have to do an honors thesis, and so I sort of went through the process of coming up with ideas, and I'm an acting focus in theater, and I said, well, maybe it would be good for me to like really push myself to be on stage by myself, because in college you're mostly taught how to act with other people. And so I got with my thesis advisor and we found this show, and I was really inspired and moved by the script, and I just thought it was beautiful.
So how difficult was it to get on stage and just be by yourself? You heard the show, like lights, camera, action, go.
It was a little intimidating, definitely, at first, because, you know, you just feel completely lonely. And my thesis advisor, Dr. Carrie Klipchak, she told me, you know, it's going to be a very lonely process because you're used to being on stage with other people, but, you know, you sort of grow into it. And by the time, yesterday when we had our final performance, I realized that I was really comfortable being up there by myself. And so I really felt like I've grown a lot through the process as an actor.
Okay, so after you graduate, what are some of the things you want to pursue with your acting career?
With that, I really want to do a lot of independent theater, which in the nation, people think of theater as like these big musicals and things like that, but really a lot of the newer theater is done very much like our black box here at Texas A&M-Commerce, and it's very small theaters, intimate audiences, and things like that, and that's really what I want to work on.
Okay, and so that's more relevant now than just big stadium seatings full of people watching, I don't know, I guess like 50,000 people watching this one big play. Like you said, small, intimate
It's
setting.
very intimate.
So when did you first start acting?
I started acting when I was 6 years old, actually. My parents got me involved with Oklahoma University up in Norman, Oklahoma, does an annual production of Oklahoma, the musical, and so I started doing that when I was 6 and just sort of caught the bug, I guess, and wanted to keep doing it.
Okay, and so how do you apply the skills you learned from theater to your everyday life?
I mean, like, theater really changed my life. There's so much about, like, learning to interact with people and how to really work as a group and things like that that has really helped me, and just, like, really accepting the way that I feel and knowing that I can express my emotions and things like that. And theater is a good outlet. You know, if I'm stressed or upset throughout the day, I know that I can go to rehearsal and release all that pressure that's been on me.
Okay, so this is your senior year, correct?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, so how have the students been responding to your performance?
I mean, so far the students that I have talked to have really enjoyed it, I think. I think the character that I played, Sally Carruthers, is very relatable. She seems very unrelatable at the beginning, and then as you go through the story with her, she becomes very relatable. And I think we've all had those moments where we've doubted what we believed in and doubted ourselves and things like that, and she goes through that process as well.
Okay. So if you're just now joining us, we're joined here by theater major A-Marie Rushlow. And so tell us some of your experience about the University Playhouse.
The University Playhouse has been amazing. I'm so glad that I came here for college and to study theater. I've gotten to work with Dr. Carrie Klipchak many, many times, and she is just hands down one of the most brilliant acting professors I can imagine. And I've gotten to work on some great productions, and I mean, I've made the friends that I know that I will have for the rest of my life here. So
as far as talk about some of the network and connections that you've made on this campus, and I guess different competitions and things you've been involved with.
Definitely. One of the main connections that I've made is through Dr. Carrie Klipchak, because she is actually one of the founders of a theater down in Austin called Capital T. And so I've made tons of connections with the people down there. I also got to compete in the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival. Me and my partner Micah Haynes competed in the Irene Ryan acting competition and made it to the finals, which meant that we were like in the top 16 pairs out of 300, so that was pretty cool, and just made a lot of connections because people see you there and see the work that you're doing and everything and come back and talk to you about it. So I've made a lot of connections here. It's really amazing.
Okay, and then going back to 1,000 Proms, how long was that show running for this past week?
That show was running for about a week. We did 6 performances starting on Tuesday, and we finished yesterday on Sunday.
Okay, cool. So is there anything else you do besides theater?
Theater is pretty much my life around here, yeah.
Okay, is there any what is your favorite aspect of theater?
My favorite aspect of theater, I think, is probably just the moment when you're acting and you look out into the audience and you see people involved in the story, and it's really a sense of community. Like, you feel like these people are taking this journey with you, and knowing that you can provide that sort of escape for people, you know, that they can come in and forget about their daily lives and just get involved in a story. That's a really awesome feeling.
Okay. You want to show us some of your skills right here on Studio 122?
Oh my gosh. I'll, like this much.
Yeah,
I'll do
let's
like
go.
this much. I am Sally Carruthers. Today I'm preparing for the Chicory Hill High School prom.
Oh, nice. Nice. I know I put you on the spot, but no, that's good though. That's good. So, what is as far as how do you evaluate yourself in your performance on the A&M campus?
I really evaluate myself, I mean, obviously by my grades and things like that, but with theater, it's a very practical sort of thing where it's about getting up and actually doing it. And so I really evaluate myself more on if people have a reaction, and whether that reaction is I liked it or I hated it. As long as it's a strong reaction, I feel like you've done your job in theater. That, you know, because some people are uncomfortable with certain material that you work on and things like that, but as long as they have a reaction and they're not just sort of like, you know, then you feel like you've sort of failed.
Okay. Well, A-Marie, I'd like to thank you for being on Studio 122, and best of lucks in the near future with your career with theater.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, and y'all stay tuned for more of Studio 122 right here.